Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Nikki.
And we are just two lassies.
Guess who's in their follicular phase?
Guess whose period's due in 2 days.
We're in very different
Different cycles
right now. But again, we're still looking for alpha female. But we'll not go into that, Samantha.
We'll just let that one lie just now until we're synced up. And then it'll all be revealed.
Then we'll see.
Then we'll see.
So when we were thinking about like a topic this week, I've had a bit of a theme going on. Obviously I was just like coming out of my period and stuff, but also just coming out of like a kind of mentally draining kind of part of my life, I think. But basically I want to talk about accountability.
Yeah.
Obviously this will go in like a million different bloody conversations, however, just because the theme was, you know, me this week, accountability, I thought let's just talk about it. And let's just be open and raw and honest and unfiltered, because this is what this podcast is about.
Yep.
But basically, a lot of stuff happened for me last year. I was put through a lot of stuff, and I feel like I've only just began to like feel it. In the first like few months of the year, kind of putting it on hold. I kind of buried it down because I just wanted to make sure that everybody was okay. And now that everybody is okay, I'm feeling like any emotion that I should have felt last year, anything that I kind of should have been feeling or whatever, is now hitting me now, and it's in a huge wave. And I got to the point where I was literally burying my head in the sand. I didn't want to go to the gym. I didn't really want to speak to anybody. And obviously I'm doing this podcast through this. Any energy I did have was basically doing my clients in the salon and doing this podcast. So through the last few episodes, like you're thinking, oh, you know, she's cushy, she's doing good. I was actually going through a hard time. So it just shows you that even when you are going through a hard time, you're not sad or depressed 99% of the time. You can get that energy, get yourself up, your good morning routine, your affirmations, and come to a point where, you know, you are feeling good.
Yeah.
But it was all coming to an accumulation last week.
Yes, it was.
And my dear man had to correct me, or what we like to call be my accountability mirror. So he noticed that I wasn't taking care of myself. He noticed that I was burying my head in the sand. He noticed that, you know, all these things when you live with someone you can pick up so much easier. And he had to have a frank conversation with me, which had to happen in order for the head to be pulled out the sand. And it was not nice to hear some home truths. See, when you're getting corrected, right? Whether it's a parent, your sibling, a friend, your partner, how hard is it to hear the stuff that you don't want to accept about yourself?
Oh my God, it's so difficult. You actually start feeling guilty though, but then shameful as well.
It's the shame. Because when you're put into a place of guilt and shame, we all know like the vibration and frequency.
Yeah.
I've put these two words together.
They're low energy.
It's such a low vibration to like be on, that it feels horrible. Like I felt horrendous. I think I sobbed for about 2 hours because I just didn't want that to be me, because I'm coming on to a podcast or I'm talking to clients and I'm giving out advice, but I'm not even taking that advice.
I think sometimes it's hard to take your own advice though. I feel I'm the exact same. If anyone comes to me with any like minor wee things, a lot of it's to do with relationships, and I'm not even in a relationship, but I tend to give decent advice, I think anyway, on it.
Yeah, but you do.
But I don't listen to that myself.
Because you're coming from like, when it's someone else, you're coming from like a different perspective, because if you're thinking about yourself and you're not really liking yourself right now, you're not going to be coming from that perspective of being able to take your own advice. Whereas if you're maybe vibrating higher, you're in a good position, you're, you know, happier for, you know, longer periods throughout the day, you're going to be able to take that advice on, like, you know what, maybe I'm going to do that, and then you're able to make wiser choices. Whereas if you're not in a good place, if you're burying your head in the sand, if you're vibrating low, it's so much easier to give someone else, because you end up caring about the other person more than what you care about yourself. So you're able to grab that advice and take it from a different perspective when actually you're down here.
Yeah, it's like you want to help them.
Yeah.
In a way, you are helping yourself, but at the same time, you're giving that person like care and love. But then why would you not give that back to yourself with that advice?
And that's where like self-care comes in. That's why you need like a mentor, someone to guide you, an accountability mirror, because we have, as human beings, blind spots. We do have blind spots. You're not able to see yourself as clearly depending on kind of what mood you're in, or you know, where you're at in your life. You need somebody to look at you and say, no, you're not looking after yourself. This isn't right. You need to take care of yourself, because, well, like him right now, he's trying his best to look after himself as much as he can. He's not got the capacity to take on looking after me, which is completely right. It's completely right. I know in relationships you take care of each other, you do, but sometimes taking care of each other looks like holding your partner accountable. That's
a form of care.
Absolutely.
So that's him showing you love.
Yeah, exactly. And because last year I did nothing but hold him accountable, because he wasn't in a good place. And now the tables have turned. You know, everything that was, you know, from last year that I didn't deal with, burying my head in the sand, not feeling good, and he's just been my accountability mirror and been like, no, you need to look after yourself and take care of yourself better, which one, I did not want to hear.
It's hard to hear
I did not want that to be me. Nah, didn't want to. But
You're so busy avoiding though.
Yeah.
You're distracting yourself from everything else that you genuinely thought there wasn't anything going on.
Yeah.
Because you weren't facing it.
No, I didn't want to face it. And you know that niggle you get in your stomach where you're like, come on. Come on now.
We need a wee bit of work
attention.
here.
Come on. I was completely ignoring it. I was pushing it down. And what happens when you push something down? It builds pressure. Then the pressure builds, then you bury your head in the sand more. And having that person there to be like, right, stop. You need to take a wee look at yourself. You're not taking care of yourself. And then you're like, okay, I'm going to sob my eyes out for 2 straight hours because I know I'm going to feel better after it. And I did. And then I was actually able to face, now that the pressure, like the tears that are releasing the pressure, now that the pressure's released, I can look and say, right, this here, there and there is where I was playing a part in my own suffering.
Yeah.
Because if you are suffering, I really hate to break it to you, but you've got a lot to do with it. Am I right?
Yeah, no,
yeah. So it's one of those things where you're like, right, situations come to you. Pain is inevitable in life, but suffering is an option.
But pain is how you grow.
Exactly. And it's growing pains, that's it. I like the analogy of, like, sometimes I say, like, everybody's got their own shit. And sometimes you need to sit in your own shit. But don't stay there for too long, because at the end of the day, what else is shit? It's fertiliser.
I've never heard
fertiliser. So you can sit in your own shit if you want. That's your choice. That's what you want to do. Sometimes you need to marinate it. Sometimes you need to be utter fucking rotten stinking in order to get the whiff of I need to change. And as soon as you make that choice, I need to change, and I'm going to do this little thing and this little thing and this little thing. A step at a time, by the way. Don't think I need to do 6 things and I need to do them right now, right this second, because as soon as you look at that, you have a mountain to climb and it's overwhelming, and then you'll procrastinate,
you'll not do
it. Exactly.
You bury your head in the sand and avoid.
Exactly. So little steps at a time, right? I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, right? I'm feeling better today. I'm going to go out and walk today. I might not be able to face the gym. Maybe I'm still feeling anxious about it, but I can go walk. I can go walk and get out and get some fresh air, and I know I'm going to feel better. So those little steps at a time, you're able to be like, okay, now this shit is now fertiliser. Now we've got growing pains. And that slight shift in perspective is what makes it 100%.
It's brought to your face and you can't avoid it anymore. Especially if he's bringing it up to you and holding it like that mirror right in your face. There's no escaping that now.
See, talking about mirrors, this was the analogy that I got, and he was like, Nick, it's not that deep. And I'm like, bitch, Is that deep? It's deep for me. I need to go. I can't be a surface leveler. I have to go deep with this sort of shit.
Yeah.
But the way it was, I was kind of imagining it was like me standing in front of a mirror and I'm looking at myself, just like we all look at ourselves through our lives. Not physically, I mean looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Mentally, emotionally, blah, blah, blah. And what I was doing was slowly but surely just turning away from the mirror. I don't want to look at that. Nope, don't want to look at that.
That's difficult.
And what he did was, that night, grabbed my shoulders, turned me around and made me face myself. And it's exactly what I needed. I needed my accountability mirror.
Yeah.
I needed him to turn me around. And sometimes it's hard to admit, like at the time, honestly, I wanted to have a fucking tantrum. I wanted to throw my toys at the pram. I wanted to get defensive with him. I wanted to just rip somebody's head off because I don't want that to be me. But see now, after a good cry, and just apologising, just being like, do you know what, I'm really sorry that I'm not looking after myself.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry that I've caused any stress in your life. I didn't mean that. And he was just like, you don't need to apologise.
You're human.
You're human. That's exactly what he said. And he was so gentle with me. And I think that's something to really take on board when your partner or your parents or your sibling or your friends are holding you accountable but are gentle with you. It's okay, giving you that reassurance that you're going to be okay. And now I'm sitting in this perspective, telling this story open, raw and vulnerable, when actually at the time I would have died off. The way I was feeling, I would have died off. I would have never told this story. But because I'm coming from a different perspective now, you know, I'm able to share it. So hopefully this little thing that I've spoken, I don't actually think I've drew breath and you've barely had two words.
Fine.
However,
a few words.
hopefully it's actually helped somebody and being like, do you know what, I'm not having a good time in my life. What am I doing? Get up and look at yourself in the mirror and be like, right.
This is where the shadow work comes in. This is your journaling comes in. And do you know, I actually done this to myself a few weeks ago because I ended up being in such a really, really down place. But I can start recognising now when I'm in those like kind of dips, if you like. And I took myself to my room, got my journal out, and I went on to ChatGPT.
Right.
And I used it as a therapist.
Did you? I have that, by the way, and I never fucking look at it, and you moan about it all the time.
I love ChatGPT so much. Yeah, so I asked it a question, I can't even remember what the question was now. Can't remember. Anyway, it was a prompt. You can find them on TikTok and like a lot of people share them. And then, so from that one question, your answer, you then start asking why, but you keep doing this for every answer to every question that you get. You do it 7 times, and that's you get into like the root cause of what your wound is to heal it.
So it just like, because my Auntie Joan actually said this to me years ago, and she said, keep asking yourself why. I'm upset, why? Well, I'm upset because this person, I didn't like their tone, how they spoke to me. Why did you not like that tone? Well, I didn't like it because I felt like I was in the wrong. Why would it be so bad if you were in the wrong? And keep asking yourself why. So that's kind of like that.
To get down to the root cause, yeah. It was about relationships. I kept getting this one thing going over and over, and I was ruminating it in my head and blaming myself. So I just typed into the prompt just saying, you are my therapist, break down why I can't get this situation, broke the whole situation down out of my head, and then it broke it down. And then that's when I started saying, okay, for every answer I give you, I want you to ask me for the next 7 times, why? And then it did for every single one. And it kept going. And I just got so much deeper and deeper and deeper into the wound.
See, I love that. That's fascinating. And I know that you like journal a lot. Journaling is something that I don't necessarily do. I think, to be honest, it's procrastination with me. More than laziness. I wouldn't necessarily say, I used to call myself lazy and things like that. I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm lazy. I think I procrastinate a lot because some things I find very, very overwhelming. I don't know if that's because my brain is just... You know what I mean? But you know, that's something that I need to learn about myself. How I can like kind of get around that sort of thing. Because I know there's like, you look on TikTok and stuff, and there's like workbooks you can go through that are helpful with like healing and stuff. And I bought a couple, and I honestly think I filled out the first page, and I'm just okay, I've done it. Tick.
Nah.
I can be such a checklister with things.
Yeah, I love a list. Don't get me wrong, absolutely love a list, and I love checking off like the dopamine. Boop,
But
done
it's the consistency and the discipline with the consistency that I struggle with. Tick, I've done it. Okay, that's me good for months. No, it's not. This is something you need to implement on a daily basis and become consistent with it, because as soon as you have consistency, you build discipline, and then that's when your habits begin to change, whether it be thought
Is it not like,
patterns
is it 30 days, 31 days that creates a habit? Or is it 90?
It's 21 days to create a habit, it's 60 days to break one. So it takes 3 times as longer to break it than what it does to make it, which obviously leads on to like the neurons that fire together wire together. So whatever you learned, whatever your subconscious patterns are, it takes so long to undo them. That's why when people say you need to do the work, it can be painful, because you feel as if you're taking 1 step forward and 5 steps back, because next thing you know it, if you're having a thought, which is a regular thought that kind of fires and wires together, maybe it's negative, maybe it's I'm not good enough. That's a huge one for me. I'm not good enough. And then something happens, and then I just end up falling down that kind of neural pathway. It falls back down instead of just being like, whoa, let's take a step back. That thought's coming in. I know that these thoughts directly link to this I'm not good enough filter. So I need to kind of catch that as soon as possible. I think it's like
so difficult to do.
You need to be on guard to your mind 24/7. This is why when you do the work, it's so mentally exhausting. Because these are the patterns that create your filter, what you're seeing through for the rest of your life. This is why people, you could just be talking to someone and you're having a laugh and they've taken it so personally. When actually it's just a joke, but to them it's feeding into...
It's like an attack on their...
It's an attack,
Yeah, no, I get that, yeah.
I don't know where I was going with that, but I was going somewhere. And I'm hoping that you guys are on the train with me.
Right, okay, so that, but it does though, it determines your reality, because what you believe is what you see.
Oh yeah.
So if you're more positive or optimistic minded, like that's everything you're going to see. If you want to see like something beautiful in that day, tell yourself that morning, be like, okay, show me like 5 beautiful things today. And that your brain immediately starts looking for all these beautiful things throughout the day. So it puts you on that high vibration. Whereas if you're waking up and you're in like a lower vibration, or you're just pissed off at absolutely everything, you're going to keep finding things that are going to piss you off and annoy you even more.
And then the momentum builds for that. So if you wake up in the morning and maybe like you've stubbed your toe when you're going into the bathroom or something, you're like, and you're just awake and you're tired, now you're sore and you're just like, and you're going on with your day, you start doing your makeup doesn't turn out right, then you're leaving the house, then you need fuel and you forgot that you needed fuel, and then you're coming into your work and then somebody's like late or hasn't shown up, or you've got a million emails to get through. Like that first initial stub in your toe is what sets the snowball of things aren't going right for me. So you've got that, things aren't going right for me, right, okay, brain is going to, as a database, is going to come up with all the evidence, all your past relativity in your database of every time everything never went well, and now you're seeing it through this like filter. And and it's so easy to say, just the attitude of gratitude. Absolutely, the attitude of gratitude works tenfold. But how do you get from A to B?
I know, because it's feeling the gratitude. Because I mean, you can go out about the day and be like, oh, thank you for this, but see if you're physically not feeling it, the word doesn't count for nothing then.
Because you have to put yourself in the place of feeling grateful. You can't just say, I am grateful for my podcast, my mom, my boyfriend, and like
thanks so much,
and the cute wee dogs that I see. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just not going to work, because you're just rhyming stuff off. It's like what we said about the affirmations coming up with evidence. Well, I'm grateful for my mum because actually she's a really good mum. She's a loving mum. She's always taking care of me. Every time I'm in her presence, she gives a warm presence. Now I'm feeling the presence of my mum. I'm feeling it right here, right now. I'm feeling that warmth in my chest. I'm feeling when I think about that, and then I think about my sister, and I'm like, oh God, she's hilarious. And then I end up laughing because now I'm thinking about memories of when I've seen my sister and when I've walked into the house and we both burst out into song because we're both daft. Then I start thinking about my nephews, and then I get that warm kind of, that nice warm
but that's
feeling.
triggering all the gratitude and the love frequency. They're the high vibing frequencies, you know. That's where the manifesting frequencies are, if you like.
Exactly.
But so folks start talking about, I'm going to manifest this into my life, and that's all they do is like they write down these manifestations on like what a full moon, like, you know, your rituals, whatever. Yeah. But there's no feeling in it. They're just writing it because they just like, I'll write it and it's going to happen.
Or you're writing this. I am writing this because if I write this, this will work. Well, no, actually, because you're missing a block in the middle. Right, you're writing this and you're like, you need to get into the feeling of it. You need to get into the feeling of what you're actually looking for. Mine is always gratitude because I know that is the key.
It is.
The key. When you feel thankful about something, it is the key. It's so hard when you're in a negative frame of mind, or if you're in your little phase. It's a hard thing to try and grasp. If you're going through your little phase, if you're feeling sad, if you're getting up and having a day like that, it's so much easier to say it than to actually do it. And I'm trying to like come up with a way, whereas because you know when you are sad and it's making you like, or if you're getting frustrated and you're a wee bit angry, because anger is a higher vibration than sadness, you kind of feed off it a wee bit more. And you kind of go into it a wee bit more, when actually it could be a case of, right, I need to stop. I need to stop for a wee minute. I need to close my eyes. I need to put some, you know, you get the YouTube videos and it's like the frequency videos, like.
Mate, I sleep to them. I sleep to subliminals. So it's like the rain sounds, but under the rain sounds, it's affirmations that are getting played constantly when I'm sleeping to rewire like my subconscious.
Oh yeah, just to get for that little bit extra help that we all need. Because let's just put it out there, gals, none of us are fucking perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have our stuff, and this is something you need to remember as well. See, when you walk out into your day and you're feeling your feelings, you're living your life, you're living from your perspective. See, when you look at everybody else around you, they have their stuff. They've went through hard times, they've went through good times. That's my sister at the door, by the way. And just when
She's dying to come on.
Just when I was saying about how, you know, we're funny, and just when I'm talking about my mum and all that kind of stuff, they appear before you. Do you know what I mean?
My instant manifestation right there.
That bloody 20 seconds.
Because you felt that gratitude there.
Because I felt that gratitude. They walked past. They did go down the high street, and I did know that, but I'm just saying it. I didn't realise they were going to walk past for 2 minutes later, but here we are. It's so much easier to just say, oh, you know, get the attitude of gratitude. What happens if stuff's happening in your life and you're just really pissed off and you want to be pissed off about it? This is the thing. We want to be pissed off about it. We want to be angry and get up and rant and rave and shout, or have a rant to your pal, voice note your mum. You know, these are the things that we want to do. We want to play the part in our own suffering.
I think though, when you have those days and you're just so fucking pissed off and you've got that rage building up, I think it's really important you need to feel it.
See, well, you need to let it pass through you. But it's how you choose to let it pass through you.
100%.
It's how you choose.
Because if you don't feel it though, that's when you start suppressing it. That's when it gets to your point of avoiding, distracting yourself.
Being distracting, procrastinating, burying the head in the sand. So
if it comes up at that moment, you need to then just take a moment. Even like if you're out and about, I tend to, like, if I feel triggered by something and I get a wave of anxiety or whatever over me, depending where I am, but I would have my phone, I would just get my notes out and I would type it in my notes and just be like, right, what in this moment has just made me so fucking angry? Why am I pissed off right now? Or why am I feeling this way? And then do like a mini kind of shadow like journaling, but just to get to that root right there and then, so that I'm not suppressing it. Because then I know when I get home, if I'm not home, I won't touch it later. because it'll have gone and I'll have already pushed it away.
Exactly, like pushed it away or like tried to avoid it or something. With me, like when I'm raging, I need to get up and move. I need to get up and move, because if you notice that young children, when they're feeling emotions for the first time, like we've all seen a Wayne have a meltdown. We've all seen like kids on the floor in the supermarket, rah, not caring what anybody else thinks, because they don't have that capacity yet. But what they do is they release it physically.
Oh yeah.
Motion. You need
energy and motion.
Exactly. You need to get up and let it out. And that's been something that I was not doing when I was burying my head in the sand. I was sitting on the couch and I was just like this. Like just shaking, feeling really down, knowing it was my own fault, not wanting to accept it, so just going around in a loop. Over and over and over again, and then just distracting myself with like the usual YouTubers that I watch, or TikTok, scrolling, which we all know is frying our brains.
Doom scrolling.
Our dopamine receptors are absolutely fried to buggery, so there's no way that you're feeling any sort of gratitude when that's happening.
I've started now, see when I'm in a doom scroll and I notice that I'm in a doom scroll, I've started asking myself, what are you scrolling for? What is it you're hoping to see right now? Is it inspiration? What is it you need to be told in this moment? Do you want to learn something? What is it you want to learn? Like, be specific about this, like scrolling, or are you just scrolling just because you're just literally just like, it's a movement and you're bored and you're not focused? If that's the case, shut it down, get it off.
Because sometimes I feel like when we're talking about like letting it out, people do sports, you know, people go to like gym classes, and you go to the gym, that helps you tremendously.
I need to.
Some people colour in, some people journal, some, you know, whatever.
I do all of them.
All
of the above.
But sometimes you need like a little like creative project, and I think that's where this podcast has came in, for sure, because it's something different. None of us have done this before, but we want to talk, we want to get stuff out, we want to like deal with social media, TikToks. Like now coming from the Mocha Minge episode, Sam has like, we've clipped all these things together, we've got them timed for TikTok, and one of them has got how many views?
I don't know, last I checked was 32,000?
32,000 views on one about us basically not being on the pill anymore. So like, see when we're doing
wasn't even a 30
like
second clip either, it was like 20 seconds or something.
Yeah, 20 second clip of just, you know, getting ourselves out there, the stuff that we're talking about, and that's obviously helped. That's obviously helped and attracted. Yeah, it's relatable, exactly, like us women and what we go through, and that's like what we're wanting, like with this like creative project that we're doing, and to channel our energy into it. As well, and just talk and get things out there, and you know, say to you guys are not alone with anything, any subject in your life. You're not alone with it.
Yeah, whatever you're going through, guaranteed we've been through or going through.
Or we're going through it as well. Like, we're not perfect. We are just two lassies.
You speak for yourself.
We are just two lassies, just trying to navigate life in our mid-30s with the society that we currently live in, with the culture that we currently live in. And we want to be open, honest and frank about these sort of things. Like, I was not having a good time. I've not been having a good couple of months. It's not been good, but you get up every day and you continue to go on. If you're going through a place where maybe it feels like a dark tunnel, and when you're in a dark tunnel, you're kind of looking for the light at the end. I had a situation with somebody that I was in, the person that I had really bad anxiety with. I only saw him for a few months, but that felt spiritually like a dark tunnel. And when things started to happen, I began to see the light, and I knew what I had to do. And as soon as I did it, it's like I came out of it and the light was there, and I'm like, oh my God.
That's you. You were ignoring your intuition, weren't you?
Yes.
And your dark tunnel, that's exactly what you were doing. You were hiding yourself away from it all.
Everybody does that. We're all just learning here. We're all just learning. We're all just trying our best. And I think it's good to like remind you, yes, we're going to have funny subject like Mocha Minge, like, you know, just being daft and talking about silly date stories and stuff. But also there's serious stuff like this where people are just trying to get through life as much as we can and have a good quality life. And sometimes you just, you know, you can't do that if you're in a certain perspective, especially during the luteal phase.
But that's why it's important, though, that you do have someone who knows you and can keep you accountable.
Exactly, that can hold you, that loves you enough to tell you the truth.
Yep.
Because sometimes the truth is going to come dressed as something that you don't want to hear. And trust me, I did not want to hear what he had to say the other day, to the point where I sobbed for about a good 2 hours. But I felt 10 times better after it. And I knew I would. This is the thing, I knew I would. Because my past relativity in my brain is any other time I have been held accountable, I've always been better off for it. Every single time.
Yeah. You need to learn, though. If you don't see it, how can you grow from it?
Exactly.
You know, you need it, definitely. I've got, it's my mum and my sister that mainly hold me accountable. But yeah, it fucking hurts.
And they're good people as well for it, because they're not afraid to hurt your feelings.
No.
That scene in The Notebook, when he's like, what do you want? Like, I'm not afraid to hurt your feelings. And I'm like, yes. You're not afraid to hurt your feelings. It's not a malicious thing, it's the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth, you can't argue with the truth. This is the thing, you can't argue with it. The truth is what it is. It stands on its own. It's a two-edged sword. It's going to cut through the bullshit.
Yeah.
That is necessary in order for you to be like, right, I've been held accountable, now it's time to hold myself accountable. Because I'm aware of it now, the truth's right there, I'm facing it. So now I need to keep myself in a place where I'm holding myself accountable.
Yeah.
And you need to take
it's hard doing that.
deep old breath.
I had to do that for one of the relationships that I was in, and I was being cheated on, and I knew I was being cheated on. But it's one of those ones you just kind of, I was so young though. Yeah. Like, and I avoided it completely, kept pushing it down.
Well, you don't want to face that though.
No, but it gets the fear in it though of, he's who I know, that's my life, do you know what I mean? Like, if I like stop this, end this, who am I without this person? I think that's so important, that you hold yourself accountable in a relationship to not be in that position and not lose who you are.
And that's where that sounds very familiar to me, because I would place my value and my worth in that person.
Yes.
That is too big a job for them to do when they have, like we've said, their own stuff, their own shit. Like, I used to do this all the time. Place my value and my worth in that person. Up until recently, by the way. Yeah. Up until recently. And I'm 35 this year. So don't feel ashamed or guilty or embarrassed for doing that. No. We do it. And we have done it.
But yeah, that got shown to me because it was one of my friends that caught him essentially out with another person. So that's when I had to step up for myself and be like, no, we're not doing this. Like, who the fuck are you for settling for this kind of mediocre bullshit? Like, no, you're worth more than that.
Absolutely.
One of the hardest things to do.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's when I went into like a really, really bad dark place then, but that's when my kind of spiritual journey kicked off. Like, I got really deep into finding and discovering who I am again, because I knew at that point, I was like, I'm not Sam, I'm partner. And that's not okay. Like, you're not on this planet to be in a relationship or to be with a man or whoever, do you know what I mean? It's not, you're here for your own reason, your own purpose, and that's when I took a lot of time for myself to find out, who am I, what's my purpose, and what is it that I actually want in a relationship, so I'm never ever settling again. So since then, I've been my own accountability mirror. Like, I've learned how to do that, and that's what brought me into all these hobbies though.
Become like, self-aware.
Yeah.
Self-aware, like self-awareness is where it's at, because when you hear that thought going through your brain and steady like looking at it and then feeding into it, and all of a sudden, because you condition your body. You condition your body. This is where like cortisol comes in. We're the only species on the planet that can turn on the fight or flight response by thought alone. So when you have, say for example, you were thinking about that back then, so-and-so is cheating on me. And it could be a case of that's feeding into, I don't feel, I'm not good enough. as soon as you see that and you feed into it, it drops into your body and cortisol starts to flood. And now the past relativity or is any person I'm with cheats on me, men cheat. And that's your belief. So anytime you're in a relationship with a man, you believe they're going to cheat, and your body's conditioned to feel anxiety, to be on edge, to question them, to want to go through their phone. You know,
that's how it all triggers.
Yeah, it all triggers.
Yeah. But that's where you need to start learning to trust yourself in these situations. Because I've found the last few relationships I was in, I was starting to get anxious that way if I thought, Samantha, speak. Yeah, if I felt he was maybe on his phone a lot, or he was putting his phone on Do Not Disturb, then that's when I would go, okay, alert, like something's not right here. Is this a red flag? Is it not? But I've learned now to trust myself in those moments and then bring it up to the person and be like, okay, I've noticed this, it's making me uncomfortable. And if they still continue to do it, that's it, you're gone, because you clearly do not value or respect me. Like, that is what it is. Like, I don't know if that's maybe me being too protective or...
Well, for me, what I've learned, you know, from good men is they want you to be happy. Like, men are fixers. Men, if there's a problem, men want to fix it. And they like to do it logically, not emotionally, because they're not naturally in that frame of mind, right? Like how we are, how we like to talk about stuff, they don't. So what I've found is they want you to be happy, and they will do whatever they can to make you happy, obviously within reason. If you've got a dodgy girl who's just acting like a fool or like a victim, you know, that's a different story. But if you've got a good woman and a good man together, and a good woman comes to a good man with I'm feeling really uneasy, I've been cheated on in the past, and I'm just really feeling anxious, like there's a part of me that does want to go through your phone, then the good man will be like, oh my goodness, you know, if you want to go through my phone, absolutely, I can do that for you. I can open it. If you want the code, I'll give you the code. You know, they do take care of you in that way. They want to take care of you. They want to make you feel safe, and emotional safety is really, really what we need as women. Emotional safety is where it's at. Like, we need that. It's an essential in a relationship, and if you don't have emotional safety, what's the point?
Like, even with me holding myself accountable in these relationships and, like, you know, respecting my boundaries, stating my boundaries and all of that, I've now learned as well, if he cannot take care of his own emotional needs, I cannot expect him to be able to take care of mine in any sort, at any level. So now I'm learning to see that up front as well. If he is very avoidant and he doesn't, like, not even want to talk about anything, if he avoids talking about anything that I want to talk about, I'm quite like, oh, okay, why, you know, want to discuss this? Because when I brought that up in a relationship before about I'm uncomfortable with that, he turned round and was like, well, that's quite psycho, actually. And I was like, well, disrespect, okay, you've just shown no value, I'm out. Like,
it's an interesting thing to want to, like, turn that around, because what I would be, so if he turned around to me and was like, do you know what, I'm uncomfortable with that, I'd be like, okay, talk to me, what's going on? Why are you uncomfortable with that? Right, okay, so I see it from this perspective, but you see it from this, and I actually respect and honour you more, and I'm not really arsed about this anyway, so I'm not going to do it anymore if you feel uncomfortable. Because the safety and, you know, that person is important to me. If I choose to be in a relationship with somebody, I'm all in.
Oh, same.
I am all in. I'm not messing about. There's no time to waste. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, let's do it, loyal, blah, blah, blah. If I'm showing a behaviour that my partner has an issue with or does not like within reason, and I'm willing to just be like, oh no, actually, I can see from your perspective, maybe that isn't beneficial to me or beneficial to you, that's fine. I'm going to work on adjusting that.
Yeah, exactly. Have a conversation about it.
Because I've heard, like, people say, oh, you know, relationships, you know, you need to compromise and stuff like that. I feel like that's maybe the stuff that they're talking about.
I think so.
Yeah, instead of being like, you know, you get people who are, like, quite controlling, like, no, I don't want you to wear that. That's a different story. That's a different story. I mean, if you've got, you know, if you're basically naked going out, fair play. But if it's a case of like, no, I want you in head to toe, roll neck, I don't want any skin showing, and you're like, I'm only getting my legs out for a nice wee outfit.
Aye.
You know, that's a different story. That's more controlling. So you need to learn to like get to know yourself, get to know what you want in a relationship, because the feeling that I had in my gut about what I wanted does exist, because I have it.
Yeah.
It does exist. So your gut never steers you wrong. So always listen to it. I don't know where I was
Just
going.
learning to trust it.
Yeah, aye. Just learning to trust it and knowing the little nuances. If you feel like somebody's trying to turn something around in you, or you feel like, oh, that didn't feel safe, that didn't feel nice, then that's when you start to learn, because that's where the red flags start to pop up.
Yeah.
Oh God, like that's not very caring.
Yeah.
You know, that's not very nice of them to say. I wonder why they said it like that. And then you approach them and they turn it back round on you, throw something in your face. You're kind of like, oh.
They're not emotionally mature. They don't know how to handle that, a relationship.
And you know, that's a them problem. See, at the end of the day, we all know about the let them theory. Mel Robbins, we all know about the let them theory. And a life coach that I watch, Iyanla Van Zandt, she's absolutely superb, and she always kind of said this anyway. It wasn't necessarily the let them theory, but it was basically along the same lines. Just let people be who they are, and then you get to decide if you want to participate in that or not. And it's so true, because it takes the pressure off. You don't own that person, you don't control that person. That person is an individual just like yourself, and they've got their flaws just like anything else, but it's what you are willing to tolerate. If you're willing to tolerate all that kind of stuff, knock yourself out. But you know, people always have their little flaws, you know, the little things they do. Maybe they bite their nails and you're finding little bits of nails around about the house. That's not a deal breaker.
Not a deal breaker. That's
just a little thing that they do. Oh, that person's feeling anxious today. Get the Hoover out. You know, stuff like that. And the little, maybe they leave cans all over the house. I'm not talking about anybody in particular. Maybe they leave like empty cans all over the house. Right, okay, that's not a deal breaker. Like, at the end of the day, I would rather have those empty cans around about the house than not have him. You know? So there's certain little things like
there's
that.
different levels to it. Yeah, of course there is.
I feel like we went like this and that again, but I think this is just how these conversations are going to be.
That's how a real conversation works.
Yes, especially with us women, because we are going to bring different things into it. We're going to bring our own life experiences into it, maybe little things that we've picked up along the way. But guys, accountability.
Hold yourself accountable.
Hold yourself accountable, and see how, if you are on the struggle bus with yourself now and you are feeling low, get someone that loves you for you to tell you the truth about what I feel like I'm burying my head in the sand and not doing good right now. What do you think? Do you think I'm doing that? And then you can move on from there. It's not nice hearing home truths about yourself. It's not nice getting corrected, but it's an absolute essential part of life. Think about, you know, you women that are out there that have children, and how many times you have to correct them on a daily basis, because that screaming and shouting and bawling and acting like an absolute maniac over no getting a toy. Listen, life's got to get worse, pal. Like, you know what I mean? Lace your boots up. Let's get over it. Take deep breaths and let's start again.
Do you know why they do that?
What?
Kids.
Because they're feeling emotions for the first time? Or?
They don't know what an emotion is, and they don't know how to process it or how to verbalise it.
Because that's when, you know, everybody's just like terrible twos, but it's about 18 months or around about then until like 3. So there's a solid 18 months in that when they are feeling emotions for the first time. And that's what I'm like, obviously I've got nephews and stuff, you've got little bit, they're not little anymore, but
independent women.
You'd have children. And my nephew right now, he's 2, he's feeling emotions for the first time. Imagine feeling anger for the first time. No wonder they're on the floor rolling about. I want to be in the floor rolling about. You know what I mean? They just release it physically because they don't know where to put it. They don't navigate. They don't know to
Aye.
sitting right.
Aye.
They can't do that yet.
That's
you
why
know?
it doesn't work if a parent starts shouting at them and getting pissed off at them. It doesn't work because they're not, they don't need that in that moment. They need someone to just hug them or let them come out of it, give them their space, but know that they can still see them, so they know they're still in that same vicinity as them.
I let my nephew just let it out.
Aye.
And then I'm like, are we all better now? And he started doing this thing when he goes, I'm okay. And I'm like, yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
You are okay.
Yeah.
You know, and I had a friend who's, when her little girl was much younger, I think she was maybe 2.5, 3 at the time. Maybe she would take, you know, a bit of a breakdown, and what she would do was, like, the Wayne would be standing here and she would grab her hands nice and gentle. She'd be like, right, deep breath. And breathe through it. And I remember watching her and thinking, oh my God, like, that makes so much sense. And you can apply that to your adult life as well. Just stop and just take a deep breath for just a second. And if you're proper angry or you're feeling one of those kind of more not sad, more high vibrational anger, frustration, get up and walk and move about. Sometimes, do you need to put a washing on? Do you need to empty the dishwasher? Do you need to clean the bathroom? Get up and move your body physically. Maybe you want to go to the gym, maybe you want to go out a walk. Do something like that in order to just breathe and get through it. I know a lassie who's going through a hard time now, and she had, like, I think it was a boxing, a bag out the back. She went absolutely tonto in the boxing bag, and I'm like, yes, girl.
Get that out, shift that energy.
Get it out, get it out.
You need to get it out.
I think she says, do you ever just want to, and then, you know, it was the video. And I'm like,
yes.
I've seen
that, and I was
like,
watching it going like, yeah, I do, actually.
Girl, get it fucking out.
Yeah.
So that's all right, you know, just don't take it out on other people. Don't try and don't externalise it and blame and try and put people down. At the end of the day, hold yourself accountable for the emotions you're feeling.
Yep.
And the part that you are playing in it, and just let it out in a more healthier way. And, you know, coming out of that for last week, like, all I can do is take it a step at a time.
Yeah. But you're doing so much better, see, now that you know.
Yeah. Well, I know it's
so much
there.
better.
I'm looking at myself in the mirror again. I'm like, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're now taking actionable steps, like, for yourself.
Get back up. Step at a time, because it's all going to be all right. It's going to be all right, because it always ends up okay in the end, doesn't it? And I've been through worse. That's all right as well.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap up.
I know, what
this episode. This was a wee bit all over the place.
I feel like this was just a therapy session for me, to be perfectly honest with you. Like,
we all need that, though. We all need it.
We need it.
So if there's anything that you guys want to talk to us about, or you want advice on, or you've got a funny story related to, I don't know, period funny stories.
I know,
like,
honestly, guys, see, if you just want to share a story, we'll keep it completely and utterly anonymous, or email in anonymously, whatever you guys want, and we'll read it out and we'll have a laugh, or we'll just, you know,
we'll give
our opinion on it.
A wee bit of advice, or a hard truth, if that's what you need.
I know, exactly, girl. You know, if you need advice, maybe you're seeing somebody.
You want to be held accountable.
Exactly. Like, we're up for it as well, and we just want to see everybody do well and have fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.